everyone. Welcome to Wealthy Wednesday. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far, and I hope it gets even better as the day goes on. Alrighty, today we are going to talk about Bitcoin, and this is a little bit of a Bitcoin for beginners because it is such an incredible space to get into, but I know there's a lot of fear around it. There's a lot of myths and misconceptions as well. And yes, of course, you can lose money with Bitcoin. I'm not saying that you can't do that. However, you can also make a lot of money with it. And I want to debunk some of the myths. I want to show you how you can get into it easily at a low risk. And really not miss out on an opportunity that could change your life. And of course, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to do this. I just want people to make their decisions based on facts and not on fear. Okay, that's it. So, today we're going to be talking about how to get into Bitcoin, how to grow your Bitcoin stocks. And I will talk a little bit more about what it is and why you want to do that. But I want to give you the how to straight up. There's the most common way, I guess, that people think that to accumulate Bitcoin is for you to buy it. So you take your cash and you go through an exchange and you say, I want $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, for example. Okay. And then you exchange your cash for the Bitcoin. You have it sitting there in your secure. Make sure you've got it in a decentralized wallet. And if you don't know what that is, find out, because that's how you make it super, super secure. Okay. So you have it sitting in there. And as Bitcoin grows, and it will continue to grow, yes, there is volatility. Yes, it is going up and down a little bit at the moment. However, that is just what happens. Okay. So Bitcoin's been around since about 2009. And if you ever looked at a chart, and I'm sorry I don't have one to bring up here, but you'll see that it was doing nothing for a long time, and then it started going up. Then it came down. It went up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So it has grown, though, thousands and thousands of percent. Because back in 2009, you could buy, I don't know the exact price, but it was like you could buy a little bit of, you could buy one Bitcoin for a really small amount. It's like tens of dollars. Now, Bitcoin is floating around that 100,000 US dollars per coin. Okay, so yes, there's volatility, but the growth is just ridiculous. Okay, so this is what you can actually tap into as well. So if you were to, like I said, buy Bitcoin, you take your cash and you exchange it for Bitcoin and you hold it. If you have the long-term view and not get caught up in what's happening day to day, that Bitcoin is going to continue to grow. And you will then, the value of it will also grow. Okay. Now, if you wanted to have more Bitcoin, then you would need to put your hand in your pocket and exchange more cash for Bitcoin. Okay, we all get that. It's like if you went down to the supermarket and you wanted an apple, you would exchange cash for the apple. If you wanted 2 apples, you would exchange more cash to get another apple. Okay, now this is where I want to talk to you guys about a really exciting little piece of technology, and it's called a BitBooster. And let me just, I've got a picture of it here. That's what it is. It's this tiny little device with the USB on the end of it, and it's known as a BitBooster. Now, this little device, though, is incredible in what it does. So the way that you mine Bitcoin, and I won't go too much into the detail of it, the way that you mine Bitcoin, though, is quite an involved process. It takes up a lot of energy. It's quite complex. It's very involved. Okay. What this little BitBooster does, though, is it helps increase the production of the Bitcoin mining. And the very clever man who created this has teamed up with some of the bigger Bitcoin farms, okay, to help them increase their production. And as a thank you, they do it like a little profit share thing. what that actually means is imagine if you were trying to dig a hole for a swimming pool, okay? And you had a little shovel and you're there digging it, all right? This little shovel, one shovel at a time. It's quite involved. It's going to take a long time. You will get there in the end, but it's going to take a long time. What these bit boosters do, it's like they're coming into the person who's digging the hole with the shovel and they're saying, hey, I've got a backhoe. All right, I've got this thing that is going to take out giant chunks of earth and get you to your goal a lot faster. Okay, I hope this is making sense. Let me know if I'm losing you, because it makes sense in my head. All you need to essentially know is that the bit boosters speed up the production of Bitcoin. Okay, and why that's important is because there is a finite amount of Bitcoin available every 10 minutes to be mined. And so all of the miners around the world, and miners are simply computers, are all racing to solve the algorithm first so that they get awarded the coin. Okay, they want to dig the hole first and finish the hole first so that they get the prize, which is the Bitcoin. So to have something that helps them speed up that process is obviously very attractive to them. Now, why this matters is that if you own a bit booster, as a thank you, so if you own the backhoe, as a thank you for lending them your backhoe or your bit booster, they're going to give you a little bit of the profit. So what that means is you earn a tiny bit of Bitcoin every single day. Now, I said at the beginning, the way that we know to get Bitcoin is to use our cash and swap it for Bitcoin, okay, in an exchange. With the bit boosters, though, because you're helping that production and you're getting a tiny bit of Bitcoin every day, you are spending the same amount of money, so $1,000 to buy this bit booster, but because it's accumulating daily, your store of Bitcoin is growing daily. So if I spend $1,000 and bought Bitcoin on an exchange, I would have approximately 0.01 of a Bitcoin, okay, if the price as $100,000 per coin, all right? If I wanted that to grow, I would have to spend more. But if I spent that same $1,000 and bought a bit booster, because it's growing every single day, in 12 months' time, I would have almost 3 times that amount. I would have 0.029 of a Bitcoin accumulated. This might sound a little bit confusing, and that's okay if it does. I want you to imagine it like, if we go back to the analogy of apples, if you love apples, you go to the supermarket, you buy an apple, okay? But you love them so much that you want to have apples all the time, but you don't want to have to keep paying for your apples. So the smart way to do that would be to go and plant an apple tree in your backyard. So anytime you wanted an apple, you go down the backyard, you grab an apple off the tree and munch away. And if you want another apple, you go to your tree and you grab an apple. You don't have to go to the supermarket. You don't have to keep buying apples because your tree is producing apples for you every single day. All right? That tree is essentially a bit booster. So instead of apples, it is producing Bitcoin every single day. Now, if this is making a little bit of sense to you, I hope it is, and you've got questions, pop them in the comments, send me a message. I'm happy to explain it more to you guys and really help you to understand what is available, okay? Because we don't know what we don't know. And I said earlier that Bitcoin has been around since 2009. We can no longer consider it a fad or that, that silly little crypto thing over there. It's done its dues. It's proven its sustainability, okay? And it's not going anywhere. If you are going to get into the crypto space, Bitcoin is one of the lowest risk coins that you can actually get into. And it's going to hold its value. Okay, our money is losing its value, and that's because of inflation. You guys would have noticed that your money doesn't buy as much as it used to. Okay, and that's just because of inflation. What you may not know, though, is that inflation is a relatively new thing. And when I say relatively new, it's only since 1971 that inflation, well, it was a bit after that actually. The US dollar used to be tied to gold. So, what that means is that there's a finite amount of gold, therefore, a finite amount of money can be printed. Okay, you can't have more money than gold because it's tied to the gold. Now, in 1971, President Nixon decided that he wanted to protect the US's reserve of gold. He didn't want other countries coming in with their currency and swapping their currency for their gold and essentially taking away their gold. So he was trying to protect the US gold stores. So they untethered the dollar to gold. Okay. So what that meant is that sorry, I just got distracted. Hello, Roz. Thanks for joining me, sweetheart. So what that meant was that the government was then able to print money whenever it wanted to. Okay. So that's when the fiat currency, which is the current system we have in place, came to be. All right. The dollar's value wasn't tied to gold anymore. The value was solely based on trust in the government and the economy. So the government, when they needed more money, they just print more money. So what that means, if there's more in circulation, the value drops. That's what inflation is. Okay. So our money does not stretch as far as it used to, and wages are not keeping up with inflation. Okay. So what does that all have to do with Bitcoin? Bitcoin operates more like gold than it does cash. There is a fixed supply of Bitcoin. There is only ever going to be 21 million coins in circulation ever. Okay, so that is a finite amount. It cannot be inflated. It's like if you, what they used to do, or any collectible really, it used to be baseball cards or I don't know, wine. There's a finite amount of it, and because of that, the value increases because the demand is there. Okay, so think of Bitcoin like that, like gold, like the fine wines, like the baseball trading cards, the mint condition comic books. Okay, it cannot be inflated because there is a cap on it. So as the demand grows, the value is going to increase. Okay, so I was talking about the volatility before. Yes, it is going to go up and down, but this is where having the understanding of how it works and having also a plan about what you want to do. Just don't go into stuff blindly. You want to educate yourself a little bit. You want to have a basic understanding of what it is you're going into, and you also want to have a bit of a plan. So what I love about these bit boosters is that because it's accumulating every single day and I'm not having to use my money to buy any more to increase my stores, it means that I can also sell it whenever I want to, or I can hold it for long terms, or I can sell part of it because it's going to keep replenishing, just like that apple tree. Okay. And as more people, as more businesses, as more institutions start using Bitcoin, the US government is talking about having their own store of Bitcoin over the next 4 years. They're going to start storing Bitcoin to have in reserve. Other countries have already done this, like El Salvador was the first country to actually make Bitcoin legal tender, and they bought Bitcoin to pay off the country debt. So it's also given a lot of their population access to banking. There's a lot of people in this world, you may not even realize, who cannot access our normal banking system. However, with Bitcoin, they can. They just need to have a smartphone. All right. So as more big companies, countries, institutions take this on, it's also increasing the demand for Bitcoin, which is making it very solid, and also something that it is not going anywhere. Okay. Another reason that you would want to consider Bitcoin is that you will have more control over your money. Okay, so right now in the fiat system that we have, it is a centralized system. That means that there is one entity, whether it's the bank or the government or the CEO, whatever, there is one entity that controls everything. Okay, so we can be locked out of our bank account. Sometimes it's for a good thing if there's a little bit of fraudulent activity and the bank goes, well, hang on, we need to put a hold on things. However, it can sometimes take a long time for us to get access back again. And sometimes we can be locked out for no reason, okay? Because it is centralized, they hold the key, they control your money, all right? With Bitcoin, it is on a decentralized network. So what that means is that it's spread across the world. There is no one entity. Everything goes onto something called a blockchain, which is incredibly secure. Once it goes onto that blockchain, it cannot be changed. So you can't manipulate it, you can't corrupt it. It's very transparent. Everyone can see the transactions on the blockchain. They can't see your personal details. They can just see what the actual transaction was, okay? So it's very transparent. And you are the one who holds the key. You are the one who is in control. So on that decentralized network, you can send your money to whoever you want, wherever they are, whenever you want. Okay, it is fast. You don't have to ask permission to access it. Nobody's going to ring you up and say, why are you sending this? It's because it's my money and I bloody want to. That's why I'm sending it. Okay, you don't have to beg, borrow, plead to borrow money either. You are in control of your money. And it's something that is accessible to everyone. All right. It's not just for tech experts. It's not just for the super rich. Everyday people like you and me are able to get on the Bitcoin train. All right. We're able to take advantage of this. We're able to turn our financial stories around. And these bit boosters are something that I love, that I see as something that is affordable. It is low risk. Okay. You're not having to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars to get in, because at the end of the day, in anything that you're doing, you need to be able to sleep at night without worrying that you're going to lose money, because yes, it is a possibility. However, when you are looking at something that is a low risk and you're managing your expectations, you're managing that risk, there is a lot of reward that can be gained as well. Okay, so I hope this is making sense. I hope it's starting to get you to see it in a different light as well. But please do your own due diligence. Don't just trust anyone that comes along. Look at what they're doing. Make sure they're doing what they say. Or, if they're telling you to do something, make sure that they're doing it themselves. Do your own research. All right. If you've got questions, ask the questions. Work with people that you know, like, and trust. Don't be clicking on any random links or anything like that, because there are people out there who are trying to take advantage. Okay. So the more that you can educate yourself, the more that you can ask questions, listen to your gut. If it feels a little bit dodgy, then don't do it. Okay. Just if it's something that interests you, though, go and find someone who you know, like, and trust to find more information to get into it. Make your decisions around everything that you do, not just this. Make your decisions based on facts and not fears, okay? It's easy to get caught up into, broke Uncle Joe who everything always goes wrong. Don't go to him for finance advice, okay? You go to the people who know what they're talking about, who know what they're doing, and you know them, or somebody else you know knows them. Okay. All right. All I want for you guys is to be able to have that financial freedom that you want. There are so many ways to do it. The important thing is that you start and you do something. So if you do have questions around any of this, please, you are welcome to put a comment. You are welcome to send me a private message, and we can go from there. And it's obligation free. Whether you do this or not, I don't care. Okay. If you do something else, fantastic. All I want is for people to start taking control of their financial future and taking actions that are going to make sure that they have the financial security that they want now and also into retirement. All right, everybody, have an amazing day, and I will see you all again on Wednesday. Bye-bye.